What's going on right now, Eliza?
We are at Really Good,
Yeah.
and we've been around all the stalls,
Yeah.
and we are both trying, well, Alex knows what she's going to buy, and I cannot decide, so I'm looking at my Ravelry and trying to figure out what I want to get, because there are so many pretty things, and I just don't know.
Do you know what do you think you'll reach a decision?
I think so, yeah. I think either get a top or slip over amount, or a contrast colour. That was Alex's idea. I think that's quite good.
Thanks, I'm a legend.
Yeah, she is a legend. Or treat myself to some really nice sock yarn.
Yeah.
That's a thought. And I also need to get something for my brother's girlfriend, because that would be cute. She's a crocheter, and I think she'd appreciate some nice yarn.
Pip, if you're watching this, switch off now.
Yeah.
Yeah, great. Yeah, if you can hear noise in the background, it's the washing machine, because I spilt my lunch all over my bag, so that's where we are. You may remember earlier in the video, we were sitting in the gallery at Central Hall at Really Good Gathering, looking at our Ravelry pages and having loads of grand ideas and lots of decision paralysis, and it turned out that it wasn't really decision paralysis we had to worry about, it was more bank account paralysis. So
That was a big mood.
So in the end, we were a little more sensible than we expected to be, and came away mostly with just sock yarn. So do you want to go first?
Yes, so I got, it's kind of like it was an off-cut sale thing from, Balmerino yarns, I can't remember, which is for my brother's girlfriend, so Pip, do not be watching this before I've given you this, but it's just really nice, just a little thing for her to crochet with. And then for me, I got this gorgeous sock yarn from the Alchemist, which I don't know if you can see, but it is such nice colours and it is sparkly. I'm really excited because I'm making a quite warm coloured sock as my first sock pair, so now cold socks.
And I love the glitter. It's such
The
a nice
glitter is
feature as
so
well.
fun. It's gonna look really cute.
Love it, and totally your colours.
Yeah. And then are we doing the full haul?
Yeah, go for it.
And then we went to Ginger Twist Studio after Really Good, and I got some fabric which has whales on it, which is so exciting.
It's so beautiful.
It's so pretty. For a cushion cover, for a cushion that has been on my armchair for literally about 6 months without a cover on it. It's finally getting a cover.
Is it viscose?
It's viscose that you can bury satin.
Ooh, okay, nice.
Fancy, fancy.
I love that. It's really beautiful.
So it's been my first time sewing with satin, but I'm really excited about it. So yeah.
I love that.
What about you?
Yeah. So at Really Good, I had quite a lot of like going back and forth on if I was going to get enough yarn to knit the slip over, and in the end I decided that it would cost me probably about £60, and that was £60 that I just did not have. So in the end I came away with Garthenor Snowdonia sock in this beautiful, please focus, beautiful cinnamony kind of colour, which is stunning. I've wanted to try the Snowdonia sock for maybe a year now, and I think this is going to be quilty cabin socks. They're a pattern that's going around a lot at the moment, seeing loads of beautiful ones, so yeah, and I've got some kind of similar cream yarn that I can use as a contrast colour. I just got the one because I usually can get a pair of socks out of roughly 200 metres, and that's exactly what this is, so fingers very much crossed.
And it's a colourwork sock, so you'll need less of the main colour.
That's very, very true. So that's the hope. Excited to use this. It's a non-superwash, no nylon sock yarn, which is very exciting. And at Ginger Twist, I got a very similar colour of sock yarn. This is, focus please, the Exmoor Sock by John Arbon Textiles, in sort of almost olivey brown colour, which is a colour I'm really into at the moment. Again, just got the one because if I just knit the leg a little bit shorter, I can get a full pair out of this, rather than knitting a little bit of a second skein and then no more. So, yeah, we went to our first yarn festival and all we came away with was sort of two skeins each. So, full points to us for being budget conscious.
High five, we're legends.
Yeah, I do like the background is the background a bit light. Rush hour is crazy around here. I know. First, before I get started, look at this ridiculous mug that I got from a charity shop. Look at this. Focus please, camera. There we go. Look at it. It's so silly, but I love it a lot. I've been back from the trip to Scotland for about half a week now, and so I wanted to sit down and film something just to sort of summarise the trip and, yeah, wrap it all up and show you a couple of the things that I picked up on my yarny travels. So to start off with, I knew that if I went on a yarny trip without some sort of plan, then I would spend way outside my budget. So I had been saving for a while, and sort of picking up extra work and things where I could, and also made a Ravelry bundle of things that I might be interested in looking for yarn for at the Woollygood Gathering and also kind of around the trip in general. So that was part of my planning, and also just leaving myself very little bag space, because if you leave yourself less bag space, my theory is you'll probably buy less because then you won't fit it in. This halfway through the trip I went, maybe I could post stuff home to myself, and then I thought, no, stick to what you've said, Alex. Stick to what you've already agreed with yourself. And I think I did pretty well, and I've come away with some yarn that I'm so thrilled with and really happy with, and a lot that I've been quite excited to work with for a while now, for some projects that I'm very excited about. So yeah, I'm excited to tell you about it. The kind of pattern of the trip was that we would go and see some friends and stay with some friends. I've got a number of friends who live in Scotland, and then we'd go over to the Isle of Skye and just try and, oh, hi Pandy, get out in nature, see lots of wildlife. And as you've probably seen in the vlog by now, we did manage to see some dolphins, which was amazing. They were common dolphins, and they were just sort of hanging around the Sound not far from Portree Harbour on the Isle of Skye, and it was so cool. And we also managed to see seals, harbour seals, and sea eagles. I think if you're a knitter or a crocheter, or you have some sort of sitting down portable craft, you'll really appreciate how exciting a long train journey feels, because it's sort of 5 hours or so where you get to uninterrupted sit with your knitting, and it's just very exciting. Get some podcasts, get an audiobook or a physical book. If I'm doing stockinette in the round, I can read at the same time, which has been useful for doing a PhD. So yeah, anyway, I digress. That was kind of part of it as well, was to travel as much by train, see a bit more of the UK, and you know, I've lived here a lot of my life, and haven't seen loads of Scotland, so it was really worth doing. I also met a Highland cow, which felt like such a touristy thing to do. I'll put a photo in. Okay, let's talk about the main points of the trip. So we started off in Edinburgh. This was our joint longest stay of the trip. So we stayed 3 days in Edinburgh. We stayed with a friend. And on the Friday we went to the Woollygood Gathering, which was so sweet and lovely. I wish we'd had a little bit more time to kind of get chatting with some people and make some yarny friends, but unfortunately we were quite pushed for time. And yeah, the main thing that we did was we went to a talk on the value of British wool by Rachel Ives, who has a herd of sheep and runs Balmerino. I'm really interested in sort of the farming side of knitting and kind of natural fibres and how they play into this. And I learned a lot. Like, I did not know that the UK has the most diversity of sheep breeds in the UK. We have the biggest number of distinct sheep breeds in the UK. And whilst yarn often feels very expensive, the return that farmers are getting on it is absolutely minuscule. So, for a number of reasons, including kind of global synthetic production and the fact that the sort of polyester market has boomed so much internationally for being so kind of cost effective, this now means that farmers get less than a 30p return per kilo of fleece, which is crazy. I'm gonna go and grab the cat. Come on, you're okay. Yeah, so less than a 30p return per kilo of fleece. And yeah, I think it was interesting to go to a talk where there was a really strong focus on sustainability and nature-informed farming, and how kind of building relationships with textiles plays into creating a more sustainable fashion future, which was what I'm all about, and it was really interesting. So really enjoyed that, and it was amazing to chat to Rachel about the Ceilidh for Nature as well, which you probably don't know this. I'm a ceilidh caller. That's one of my jobs, is calling ceilidhs. So my memory card said it was full. It wasn't full. I think there's just a glitch with my camera, but I've put in a different SD card now, so hopefully that problem is sorted. I was in the middle of talking about Ceilidh for Nature. Just to sum up, I am a ceilidh caller, so I was really interested to talk to Rachel about that as an event and how it's used to raise awareness and get people interested. So yeah, enjoyed that a lot. The Woollygood Gathering was a lot of fun. It was a very sweet event with just beautiful vendors, beautiful venue, loads of amazing knitters. I saw so many great jumpers. I wore my stick season sweater all day, which was very nice because Rebecca, the courier bear, who's the designer, saw me on my way in to Central Hall as she was heading out. I was like, nice jumper. I was like, thank you. So that was a sweet moment. There was so much yarn I wish I could have bought. But as you saw in the earlier clip, total bank account paralysis. The one that I am still thinking of is one by River Knits, which is their DK yarn. It's a BFL base. It's so soft.
and the colour is called Autoschlüssel, which means car key in German. And it's a sort of khaki colour, so it's a bilingual pun which just makes my little bilingual heart so happy as it is. And it was the most stunning sort of greeny, ochre-y, olivey colour, and I wish I could have bought some of it. I knew I wanted to make a sort of cloud top to wear as a slip over with it, but the cost of it was just way out of my budget, and it was such a shame, because obviously that's what it's worth, but I wish I could have paid it, so there we are. Maybe I'll still order some from them, who knows. It's still living in my head, so we'll see. But I'll show you what I did come away with, because I am delighted with all the yarn. There's, yeah, like I say, tend to be on a bit of a budget. Because I work at my local yarn shop, I do get a staff discount, which is very, very helpful. I try to knit using natural fibres where I can, but obviously that's not always the cheapest option. And I try to kind of use yarn that I have and, you know, make the most of my stash. And yeah, so that's kind of all budget stuff. At the same time, this is my main hobby, and it's the thing that brings me a huge amount of joy outside of work, and so it is something that I am more prepared to spend money on. So yeah, all of that kind of disclaimer as it is. Yeah, I had been saving for this for a long time, so bear all that in mind. The first thing that I got at the Woolly Good Gathering, as I showed you earlier, was this Garthenor Snowdonia sock. It's this stunning colour. See if the camera will focus. Come on, camera. You don't want to play ball today, do you? There we go. Just about. It's blowing out a little bit, but it's a sort of cinnamony autumnal colour. The shade is called Sundew, which is a really great name for it. It looks very sort of toasted and pretty, and I love it. It smells so sheepy, which is perfect. It's a non-superwash, no nylon sock yarn, which I'm very excited about. I've wanted to try this yarn for a long time, and I'm pairing it with this yarn that I've had in my stash for a while. Focus, please. Yeah, from my lovely friend Jen. I used a lot of it for another project, but I think, if my maths is correct, I've got just enough left for this to be a contrast colour to make a pair of quilty cabin socks, which I'm very excited about. I'm joining the knit along that's run by Marlene of Marlene Knits, and also Liz and Paige, who are, I think that's everyone running it. Please forgive me if I've left anyone out. I love watching their podcasts. I'm a member of Marlene's membership on her Discord and have a lot of fun with that community, so yeah, this is for that knit along. I've wound this up already because I'm probably gonna start this today as a little treat. So yeah, quilty cabin socks have been long in the planning and are now in the making. You can hear the cat shouting because it's hangry hour. Every time it's sort of an hour before her food time, she gets so hangry, so you can hear her shouting. So yeah, quilty cabin socks. I'm not sure if you can hear this, it's so silly. Anyway, Garthenor Snowdonia sock. Very excited, it feels really sheepy, it's lovely, I'm very excited to try it. Moving on. After the Woolly Good Gathering itself, we went to a couple of Edinburgh yarn shops to just have a look around, and may have slipped and fallen into some more purchases. So the first of which is this John Arbon Textiles Exmoor sock, which I got at Ginger Twist Studio, which was delightful. I'll show you the colour. So the colour is, as you can see, very similar to the Garthenor one, but a bit kind of more on the yellow side. This shade is called Fuzz Pig, which I believe means hedgehog, which is so sweet. I'm a big fan of a hedgehog, and I do think that if I were a creature in a children's book, I would probably be a hedgehog. Yeah, I've wanted to try the Exmoor sock for a while as well. Gonna try and get a pair out of one skein. Let's see if it works. This might be a game of yarn chicken waiting to happen. So yeah, but I love this colour. As you'll see, all of my purchases kind of fit into an autumnal colour palette, which I think is just my my colour palette. So let's see. We also went to Kathy's Knits, which is such a beautiful yarn shop in Edinburgh. I love everything she stocks, and every time I'm in Edinburgh I go there. Probably my favourite yarn shop in Edinburgh, maybe. And Kathy herself is a delight. She's really fun to chat to. And yeah, we kind of bond over working in yarn shops. So she's awesome. And I bought some yarn that I've wanted to try again for a while. Ever since I kind of found out about the new Lanark mill, I've been really interested in what they do. This is, it says on the label, traditionally spun yarn produced on historic machinery powered by hydroelectricity, made in Scotland. Yeah, the new Lanark mill is a World Heritage Site. I would love to visit at some point, maybe when I go to Scotland for my friend's wedding over the summer. Not sure, but didn't get an opportunity this time, which was a shame. But I got 4 of these, so if you'll focus please. There we go. Look at that beautiful rich colour range. It's this sort of all of the autumnal colours all thrown together. I love it. It's such a nice texture. It's very rustic but not too scratchy. And you get 160 metres to a ball. So this is Aran weight, and I haven't exactly decided what to make with it yet, but I have enough to definitely make a slipover, and I could probably squeeze out a sweater. So again, maybe I've just bought myself a game of yarn chicken. Who knows? But it's so beautiful. The shade is called Autumn, no surprises. I might also use it to knit up a slipover version of a design that I've been cooking up, but you'll have to wait till the next podcast episode to hear a bit more about that. Great. Oh, I missed out a Willy Good Gathering item, which is a surprise for my lovely, lovely friend Sophie, who was looking after Pandy while we were away. This is a beautiful little mini skein of pure alpaca, and I don't know if you can see, but it says on it the alpacas that it came from, if my camera will focus. Yeah, Dolly and Pepper. So that's them. That's a little mini skein for Sophie. She has a beautiful storm sweater in this colour, and so yeah, thought that would be a nice little token for her. So those are all my purchases from Edinburgh. As you can see, all very autumnal in colour. And yeah. Oh, Pandora, are you so hungry? Are you so hungry? It's very hard to be a little cat who's so loved. Very, very difficult. Yeah, I think we're on to Inverness, actually. So, Inverness was not a yarn stop on this tour. This was purely sightseeing. I had no intentions of seeing any yarn or anything like that, and I didn't. Go Alex. But what I did do was we went to a little fabric shop. Now, Oxford doesn't have a fabric shop. This is, in my opinion, a massive oversight in the city. Someone, please set up a fabric shop. So when we saw this beautiful fabric shop in Inverness, we had to go in. Hi Pandora, she keeps coming to join me, and now she's attacking my feet because it's hangry hour. Yeah, so we came away with some fat quarters. So I'm not a good sewist. I don't like ironing enough to be a good sewist, and I find that the patience it requires is not something that I'm willing to give it. I don't think the reward for me matches the input, which is just ridiculous because knitting objectively takes longer, but somehow I'm willing to do that. Anyway, I blame it on the ironing, but Eliza is a very good sewist, and we came away with some fabric. Look at it. It's stunning. And on the inside, it's this sort of gingham lining, just 2 fat quarters, and she made me this project bag out of them, which I'm also going to be using as a very comfy pillow. At the moment it's full of pear gynt, more on that in the podcast. Also brick red, autumn colours. So yeah, she made me this beautiful project bag, and I'm really grateful because it was very, very sweet and lovely of her, and it's so beautiful. I love how sort of like a classic tablecloth, you know? Do you know what I mean? Is that just me? But I think it goes really well with the gingham on the inside. Really, really pleased with that. So that was an Inverness acquisition. And then we went to Skye. And Skye, I've never been, but it was absolutely incredible. If you've not been to the Isle of Skye, go. There's a lot of tourists, and I totally get that. You know, it's sort of the main economic focus of the island by the look of it, and there's a lot of holiday accommodation. Obviously, we were also there on holiday, so, you know, we're very much benefiting from that tourism. The island itself is just natural beauty as far as the eye can see. We stayed in a room on Portree Harbour that had a view of the sea, of the harbour, and I really do think that seeing the sea makes me feel happier. So that was a massive win. It also has mountains, which if you live in the south of England, or indeed the north of Germany, you don't see mountains. Doesn't happen, except the Harz Mountains, but, you know, where my family's from, don't see it. I could rhapsodise about Skye for a long time because it was really beautiful and loads of sheep everywhere. As you'll have seen early in the video, the sheep really own the place, and I love that for them. So yeah, we knew that we wanted to do two major yarny things on Skye. The first was to go to the Skye textile mill, which has restored historical machinery of knitting machinery. So you saw the clip of a knitting machine, which is over 130 years old. We also wanted to go to Staffin, which is a little town that firstly is where you can find dinosaur footprints. I'll put in a picture. Actual dinosaur footprints. A dinosaur walked there, and then I did. And then it's also the place where the Crowbear pattern is named after. So if you've watched my episode, you'll know I love the Staffin sweater, I love the Staffin vest, and I wore my Staffin vest on the beach in Staffin. Again, picture. Yeah, beautiful views as far as the eye can see, sheep everywhere, happy Alex. So we then went to the Wishlist Isle of Skye Natural Dye Company shop. This is an awesome place. I didn't catch the name of the lady who runs it, but she was so friendly and so helpful and so interesting, so thank you for a lovely visit to your shop. She dyes all of this yarn. The cat just did a flying leap onto the table and nearly missed it. And honestly, good for her for styling it out. Yeah, well done, 10 out of 10. Anyway, so we went to Wishlist. She uses natural dyes to dye all of her yarns, and it was incredible to find out about all these different natural dyes and kind of the theme of the trip being sort of sustainability in a lot of ways, and kind of how we can use what already exists to kind of create our clothes and pursue our hobbies. So that was a lot of fun. I'm just going to sort this cat out, and by sort her out I mean gently discourage her from wrecking the flat. Interruptions all over. Thank you for your patience. So yeah, this is what I bought at Wishlist. I wavered for so long. I kind of went back and forth. What was I going to get? Wishing I could afford more. Theme of the trip. In the end, I came away with two skeins of fingering weight yarn. They're 50% BFL, 50% Masham, and they are, 225 meters per 50 grams. This one here is dyed with oak. How cool is that? It's a beautiful shade of yellow. Butter yellow. Do we think butter yellow suits me, or does it wash me out? I don't know, but it's the colour of the summer, so what's a girl to do? Anyway, this one's dyed with oak, so you can see it's got kind of very subtle variations in the colour. And then this one is dyed with tansy, which is this gorgeous green, if it'll focus. Yeah, look at that. It's a little bit deeper than it's showing on camera, it's blowing out a little bit, but yeah, they're both the same base, both the BFL Masham base, and I'm going to hold each of them double and knit the Halibut Cowl by Boylan Knitworks. Knitworks? Yes. So yeah, going to hold these double. I think they're a good combination as well. Let me know what you think. Again, very sort of natural colours. I really do think that green is a neutral. I think green is nature's neutral, so yeah. And they're very lanolin rich, and I love the feeling of knitting with very lanolin rich yarn and just how smooth it makes your hands. So nice. I think that might be everything. I think that's everything, which I'm really happy with all of. And whilst the River Knits Autoschlüssel yarn still lives in my head, probably can't happen in reality, but everything that I did get, I'm so thrilled with, I'm excited to knit with, gonna cast on my quilty cabin socks probably later today, and at some point film a regular podcast episode. The one thing that I did acquire in Scotland that is not so fun is, and you can hear it in my voice, is a hideous cold that has been absolutely brutal. I get such man flu. Whenever I get a cold, I'm like, oh, this is the worst thing that's ever happened to anyone. I'm such a drama queen about it, but this one has stuck around. And yeah, ever since I had a virus a few months ago, any other virus, no matter how mild, has hit me very, very hard. So that's been a bit of a rough acquisition, but it has meant that whilst recovering, I've been doing a lot of knitting. So plenty to tell you about in the next podcast episode. So in summary, thank you so much for watching. I feel like I'll only get more proficient talking to a camera, which is a very weird experience. Thank you for sticking with me through a few interruptions. Let me know in the comments if you have ever been to the Woolly Good Gathering, if you would like to go, and if you've ever tried any of these yarns or patterns. I want to hear all your ideas. Have a lovely day, happy knitting.